Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to Side Hustle Ideas. I am Bill, the company's expert. Hope you're all doing okay out there. This is the weekly live stream where we talk about entrepreneurship, side hustles, adding revenue streams, income streams, all that kind of stuff. I'd like to say a shout out, of course, as always, to my YouTube channel members. You guys are awesome. My Patreons, my super thanks donors, and to you. You are here, and for that, you are awesome. You're doing some self-improvement, and that's great. The topic for today is monetize your passion. This is episode 81 of Side Hustle Ideas, and as always, this is an interactive live stream, so that means that if you can see my beautiful face and my amazing hair, you should be able to see a chat box somewhere nearby. So get in the chat box. If you're a subscriber of my channel, get in the chat box and let me know what's up with you, what you're wondering, what you're struggling with, and what's generally going on. And today, not only that, but I have a challenge for you guys. What is known as a live challenge, what the kids call it these days. And what I'd say is I'd like you guys to brainstorm side hustle ideas and drop them into the chat. So if you have a side hustle idea, that's an option for you. Either you're pursuing or you just think it's an option for other people, put it in the chat. And that way you can see those, because the title of this is Side Hustle Ideas, but I tend to talk about other things. Today we're going to be talking about how to monetize your passion. Now, what's your passion? It's your hobby or your interest. Come on, surely you must have hobbies or interests. Unfortunately, sometimes because of our modern lifestyle, we might not have as much time to spend on these things as we would wish. But one really cool option is to be able to do your hobby but turn it into a business. And I mean that in a good way, because you get to do the thing you like to do, and you get to spend time on it, but it also makes you money. And you never know, if you push this and it takes off, you could even replace your day job with it eventually. So that's how cool this could possibly be. I mean, wouldn't that be living the dream? You get to do what you enjoy, do what you're passionate about, and that's the thing that makes you money. That's one of the reasons why I think entrepreneurship is just so damn cool, because you don't have to do a crappy job that you hate to make money and then come home and do the stuff that you actually do want to spend time on. No, your 9-to-5 job, your 8-to-4 job, your 8-to-8 job, whatever you want it to be, that can be the thing that you actually enjoy doing, that you want to spend time on. So that's how cool this can be. So hello to intros, solos, ye outros. Right on. You like my accent? I'm practically a native. Music is my passion. Right on. You would not be alone there. Music is part of art, and art is what makes, what's the word? It enhances life, I'd like to think. AJ Smith says, went to job interview, did not get the job because of my experience. What do I do? Okay, well, we're here talking about side hustles, not job interviews. I do talk about that, but this afternoon. I've got another live stream coming up a little while after this one called Honest HR Nitrous. We can get into it there, AJ, if you would like. But let's get on with this. Okay, so first off, what's your passion? Now, if you're a normal human being, okay, you're a normal, well-adjusted, fine, upstanding human being, like I know you are, okay, you are probably interested in not just one thing. You're probably interested in many things, right? You know, you might watch movies or TV or whatever. You might play video games or, do that stuff online or whatever. You might have some kind of like physical hobby. You go and you play sports or something like that, See, I know all about sports. You can tell from my physique and my extremely masculine drink. That's right. When I'm in the company of executives, they order a scotch and soda, and I drink that. And things tend to go very well after that. But no, you're probably interested in more than one thing, right? You have interests in different areas, right? And you might be passionate about reading about different things, learning about different things. Maybe you're into coding or learning new skills because they're just cool. You might be into like celebrity gossip. I don't know, because to you, it's just cool. You might be interested in many things. So the question is, which one should you use if you're if you're sort of into this idea, which one should you pursue to try and monetize, to try and turn it into a business, right? Maybe what you're interested in is a little bit more nebulous. It's a little bit more abstract. Like, for example, you like teaching people things, or you like spending time with people and getting to know them, and getting to learn what makes them tick, and maybe seeing if you can help them. Like, I don't know. Those would be examples of sort of abstract things that you're into. You feel like you're good at it. You feel like you come alive when you do that kind of thing. So obviously, that kind of thing, you could maybe spin that into teaching, maybe spin it into tutoring, maybe it into consulting, maybe be a content creator, an author, right? That kind of stuff. Somebody mentioned music, right? Now, music has changed in the last 30, 40 years. I don't mean the styles of music, but how you monetize it. But there's still some things you can do. Usually, like music, for example, as far as I know, you make money by tying it to something. So you don't necessarily do music in a pure form where you like make a recording or something, but you would tie it to an event, you would tie it to an experience, you would tie it to, like I guess in the case of YouTube, you might tie it into a video or something, but you use it to tie it to something else, and then it's like the package that works, right? So, you know what I mean? There's many things you're interested in. You can pick one. You can, some things it leaps to mind quicker that you can monetize it. Other things, maybe it's more of a stretch, but, I believe that all interest can be monetized. It's just a question of what form is it going to take and how are you going to do it. So that's kind of the first thing, just choosing what it is you like. And there's nothing that says you have to choose one thing. I would recommend choosing one thing at a time and sort of trying to push that into entrepreneurial type venture, one thing at a time, don't try and do everything all at once. Okay, but then you get the second problem, which is what form is it going to take? Like, for example, somebody mentioned music, right? And once again, I'd like to reiterate, there's a bit of a live challenge for you guys. Get in the chat and post a side hustle idea, something you think might be an idea. Either you're doing it or you just think it might be cool for somebody else to try. Do that. But how you turn God, I'm on the ball today. I just want to share that. It's Monday, and I'm feeling good. How would you turn an interest into a business? The first thing probably is to figure out what form is it going to take. Now, there are two basic things you can do: products and services, right? So, for example, if somebody was talking about music, say that's your hobby. Now, a service might leap to mind. You could do music for soundtracks to videos or films or that kind of stuff. That's a service. People come to you and say, can you write me a soundtrack? Here's my video, needs music. Here's my movie, needs music. That kind of thing, right? You could be a DJ or something, or, entertainer, that kind of thing. It's like a service that you perform. Product. What would be a product version of music? You could create an instrument and sell it. You could create a new device, like electronic gizmo that makes music, that kind of thing. You could record your music and try and sell that. I don't know if people still do that anymore. But you see that it could take multiple different ways, multiple different forms, and also you can combine a product and a service together. Software is a classic example of that. It's a product and a service all together. It's sort of some halfway house, right? Or a combination thereof, right? You provide a service. In this case, we're talking about music. You could be a DJ or something, and then, I don't know, you sell merch. There you go. Here's a download of the music you heard tonight at this rave, which is what the kids call it these days. You know what I'm saying? Like some kind of form that's sort of a halfway house or a combination of a product and a service. Smack Dab says lean and mean. Somebody says review music videos on YouTube. There you go. Yeah, there you go. It's like a service, right? Be the reviewer that everything you hear, you say it sucks, right? My professional opinion as a highly skilled music critic, is that it sucks. And you can take that to the bank. That kind of thing. But you wear a really fancy wig and bow tie, right? And that's your gimmick. 1 million subscribers right there. Okay, so this is hopefully maybe in my pathetic little way here trying to get you inspired to translate your interests into something that you can sell, either a product or a service, right? And you can make money doing your interest. Now, one of the coolest examples that I've seen of this is things that historians have done, right? Now, I don't know about you, but to me, historians, it's almost like it felt a little bit like you go to school and you study philosophy, right? Some people laugh at you because like, oh, what a waste of time, right? What job are you going to get with that, with like a major in philosophy? Well, almost like history was a little bit like that too, right? What are you going to do as a historian? We already know everything, or something. Or the jobs are very few and far between. Who hires historians? Maybe universities and end of list, right? So what a lot of people who studied history do is they go into entertainment, and they do like documentaries on history, on, World War II, or, the kings of England, or, something that, is very entertaining, right? For people to, content for people to consume, and they make a really good living at that. And it's like, wow, you have a background in history. It's totally useful. It enables you to do this, but you're not working as a historian. You're taking it and you're doing an entrepreneurial type thing. You're going out on your own and you're creating content, and that's how you're making your fame and fortune. It's a great idea. I wonder if someone could do the same thing with philosophy. Somehow you don't go and become a philosopher, the direct career path, but you take it, you combine it with entertainment in some way, right? Maybe there's some real interesting things you could do there. Who knows? But whatever interests or hobbies that you might have or things you're passionate about, think about it. Is there a way of turning that into a money-making entity of some kind? The next challenge you'd have is thinking of marketing and operations for this. Some people, namely introverts, are probably really good at operations, less good at marketing. Other people, namely extroverts, it's the opposite. You're probably really good at marketing. You love to talk to people, and maybe you're very persuasive, but you maybe are not great at operations, which is a common thing I've seen, and you don't really have anything to sell, right? You need both. That's the reality. You need to do both effectively, and you always need to start off with the marketing to validate your idea. A lot of people are afraid to validate their idea. They figured that I can just, a lot of introverts figure I can work on this myself. It's a personal thing. I'm going to work on it, get it ready, make sure it's complete. Then when it's done, then I can try and sell it and I'll make $1 million. And that'll just happen, right? Usually it doesn't work out that way. That's usually a colossal blunder. It's like getting a hole-in-one in golf. It's okay, I'm terrible at golf. I never get a hole-in-one. I hardly ever play it, but a hole-in-one is very hard to do. So just assuming that you're going to just create this big intricate thing and then just sell it and bam, it'll just take off, that's like getting a hole-in-one in golf. It really doesn't happen. Usually you have to tweak what you do, and you have to learn little by little how to sell it, where that audience is, what they respond to, right? So that's what you should start with, because you know what? It's cheap. You don't have to spend money on anything to do that. I see there are 14 people here. Thank you for being here today. Let me know what's up with you. Let me know what you're wondering about, struggling with when it comes to business ideas, entrepreneurship, side hustles, all that kind of stuff. I'm here to help you out if I can. For marketing, now if you're an introvert, you're probably going to want to do a lot of this online. That's probably what you're comfortable with. That's probably what you might be effective at, right? Sort of promoting things online, right? Over social networking or elsewhere on the internet. That's something you can do. You can do it from the comfort of your own home, on your device or your phone, on your computer, right? You don't have to talk to a single solitary soul. So that should have tremendous appeal to the introverts out there. And there's a lot of things you can do. Knowing what to do just with the power of a smartphone, phone, there we go, thank you. We can promote something, you can send something to 1 million people easily if you know what to do. It's incredible. Now, if you're an extrovert, then you probably want to go about things differently. Okay, you probably want to be out in the real world speaking to people face to face. You can go to events. You can go down and immerse yourself in that particular industry that you're in, right? So we were talking about music. Go to a music trade show or event, anything like that that's happening locally. Go down to the local music stores. Go down to wherever your audience might be for whatever it is. If you're trying to sell a product that's like an instrument or an accessory, you would go down to music stores. You'd hang out with people, hang out with the owners. Talk to them about, like what their challenges are, what they're looking for, what tends to sell, what tends not to sell. Learn all about that. Talk to the customers, That's how you learn, what it will take to create something that just is a hit. People see it, they want to buy it, So for extroverts, that's what a lot of promotion and marketing, that's what form it will take, that kind of thing, right? It's more face-to-face. If you go in for collaborations, you can do that. If you go in for creating a community, building a community around something, you can certainly do that. Fans of something or other, right? Enthusiasts of something or other. Okay, so networking works different for introverts and extroverts, right? Depending on who you are. I suspect there's probably more introverts here than extroverts. And that's good, because I'm an introvert too. So there you go. Seth says, I paint cars. Right on. Seth, do you do like just the standard paint job, like the kind that you would get in a garage where someone takes their vehicle for like maintenance or whatever? Or do you do like the fancy custom $1 million paint job, where you can take any family photo and put it on somebody's car, that kind of thing, and enhance it? That'd be cool. You can take family photos, you can put it on a car, and you can enhance it so that, the people, they now have wings and, battle axes and this kind of stuff, flames in the background, that'd be pretty cool. I'd go for that. I might have some privacy-related issues afterwards, but, Brainwasher says, so true about I'll work on it myself and perfect it. Yeah, I've seen that so many times. I've worked with several startup companies, like more than several, like probably a couple dozen at least, but, where I was like a paid consultant to sort of help them get on their feet and get them to being revenue positive, get them to being profitable, all that kind of thing. And the problem was, a lot of times when these startups were started by introverts, you would see that very often. You'd see people that, they just would want to like create a prototype, and they would have these very, very ambitious plans. They would, have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to like create a prototype. And it was all based on this idea that, oh, I just have to create this thing that I can envision, and then poof, it'll sell. Just like that, Just money and fame will follow. And it's like, no, it won't. Even if you do get like a hit, something that like turns out to be a product that, could sell millions and millions, you still have to promote it like crazy, to get it out there, right? It's a major, major operation, right? But that was their problem. They figured like, okay, I'm just going to nail it like first time. I'm just going to magically create this thing that I think it's awesome, so therefore everybody else should think it's awesome the moment they see it, and then they'll instantly trust me and they'll trust my product that it will deliver on what, it promises to deliver. They'll immediately see that. They'll be throwing their money at me. It doesn't really work like that. It's kind of like, you've got to go out there and find what people like, find what they're receptive to, And a lot of times what they're receptive to and what they're open to and what they like is kind of a little bit counterintuitive to what you might think, right? The other thing is there's an issue of trust, right? They might like a thing, but maybe they don't want to buy it from you because they don't know you, they don't trust you. They don't trust that it will deliver on its promise, right? Even though they are totally looking for that type of thing. Sometimes we see that, right? It's for that reason that when you do promotion and you say like, this will save you money, does that work? No, it doesn't. It doesn't work. Because everybody wants to save money, but does everyone just automatically trust that you'll be able to save them money? No, they don't. That's why that pitch doesn't really work, right? Yeah, I want to save money, but I don't believe that you can save me money. More likely you're some kind of scam, So, right? So there's an element of trust. That's why you've got to get out. You've got to actually try things. You've got to validate it. See if you can sell it ahead of time before the prototype is ready or before you start offering your thing. See if you can sell it first. If nobody is interested, that might tell you it's kind of going to be a tough slog, right? But if you go to a certain place, you meet a certain type of people, you say a certain type of thing, and then all of a sudden people are like, yeah, sign me up, or yeah, here you go, here's my cash. How do I buy one? Then that tells you, well, maybe this might work. So you got to do that work first. But look on the bright side, you get to go down and talk to people about the thing you're interested in, right? Maybe these are people that you might associate with anyway, right? Seth says heavy equipment and show cars. Okay. So could you? Seth, could you fix me up with like a dragster? I want reverse flames down the side and my face on the hood. You think you can do that? My face backwards on the hood. Is that the point where they like? Are you at the point where it's people that like give their cars names? Is that kind of that level? I know some people like name their cars. The Midnight Bastard. Like whatever. Car, right? So hey, dragster. Awesome. Right on. That's cool. That's good. Hey, my impression is that there's money in that kind of industry, right? Is it like at least stuff connected to it, like the Formula One, NASCAR kind of thing. I'm not really on that scene. I've never really been into that, but I know some people that like really, really are. And it seems like there's a lot of money. There's a lot of sponsorships. There's a kind of big, healthy industry around that. So I'm sure you could, if you really took it, like if you were upscale, I don't know what you're doing, but if you're upscale or you took it upscale, I'm sure you could really clean up with something like that if you're, if you do very high quality stuff. Right on. Race cars. Yeah. No, I had a coworker of mine like many years ago, like 25 years ago or something, that was really into that. And he was a mechanical engineer. So he had learned about like cars. I think he was telling me that when he was doing engineering, they had actually to take a course called the internal combustion engine. Like it was not just on physics and stuff, but like an engine course, like in engineering. And he was really into that. And he was explaining, Formula One and all this kind of stuff and how like, every year the requirements and the restrictions, the technical constraints on the engines and the cars and what you're allowed to do get like more and more stringent every year. But yet, because of advancing technology, the cars get faster and faster. So he found that incredibly exciting. And I remember him talking to me at length about it. So I know some people that are like really into that. It actually sounds like kind of a cool thing. But so we talked about marketing. We talked about different types of marketing, whether you're an extrovert or an introvert. So I'm sure our buddy Seth here, you are probably out. Your marketing will probably be a lot of like word of mouth, a lot of talking to people, as opposed to just sitting in your home and being on the internet all the time, doing it all online, right? people can see your face, people get to know who you are, you build relationships, and then I suspect maybe that's what leads to sales. Seth says, it's tricky. Some guys that you work for don't get along with each other and it becomes hard to make money. Oh, okay. So some interesting challenges there. Are you talking about your employees or you're talking about your customers? The customers don't get along with each other. Okay, so if you do work for one customer, then you lose the other customer once they hear that you've worked with the first customer, that kind of thing. Yeah, I could see that being annoying. Yeah, so there you go, everybody. There's an example, it seems, of more of the extrovert type form of marketing where you're out doing it face to face, you're going to events, you're going to meet people, build relationships in person, that kind of thing. Having conversations, find out what they're into, what their tastes are, what their, where their head's at. Because if you can satisfy yourself and also satisfy them, that's a 2 out of 2. Incidentally, I'm going to plug my course here. If you want to learn about business, get that course. Check it out. There's a link in the description. The $100 MBA, best bang for the buck around. So the other thing is like the sort of financial side of this. How much should this stuff cost when you're just trying an idea? Essentially zero. Okay, don't spend any money on this kind of thing. The way you can actually pull this off but not spend money is by putting the marketing first. So everything that we were talking about with Seth here, going out and meeting people, talking to customers, this kind of thing, okay? If you're an extrovert, you do that kind of thing. That costs very little, practically nothing. If you're an introvert, you go out on the internet, you try and connect with communities of people that would be into the thing that you're doing, okay? So, if you're doing something connected with sports or a certain type of sports, you'd go and you'd connect with that crowd, go into all the groups online, where people congregate that are into that sport, whether it's volleyball or whatever, start connecting with people and then start pitching. Like, here's what I can do. It costs $100. I can do this. Is anyone interested? Please let me know. You can buy it here, that kind of thing. Just send me an email, whatever. Now, if you get crickets, you get nothing, then it's probably not going to be a super easy thing. If you start to get a lot of responses, that tells you, okay, I might be onto something here, right? And the goal that you should shoot for is to get pre-orders. The same way that Amazon does it or any other store, right? You see a thing online, you buy it, you pay your money first, then they send it to you, and there's a delay, right? Okay, so that's what you want to shoot for. They buy your thing, you haven't created it yet, right? Whether it's a product or a service, they pay up front. So you've got some cash to fund what you're doing. So if you have expenses or whatever, right? And then you deliver the service, right? Now the catch is offering something that is accurate. So, you're selling it for the price that makes sense. If people wanted it and were paying for it, you could provide it. And if you were paid that amount, you could make money, right? So you got to do a little bit of homework first just to kind of get these numbers right. But that's basically the idea. That's the way I recommend it. And if nobody's interested, you haven't spent a penny on creating something that is not going to sell. So you haven't wasted your time either. So that's the way I would recommend doing it. Stay away from grants, loans, that kind of stuff. Don't play in that world. Would be my recommendation. There's a lot of slimy, underhanded things going on. All right. Get in the chat. Let me know what's up with you guys. Give me some. At the beginning of this live stream, I presented everyone with a live challenge to post a side hustle idea that you think is good into the chat. Either you've done it, you're doing it, or you just think it's a good idea. Post that in the chat. We can get some discussions going. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff a lot of shenanigans going on with grants and loans. You don't want to take out a loan to do this. You really don't. It should be a fun thing. It should be something that you want to do, because you don't have anyone forcing you to do this. That's the nature of the work. You don't have somebody standing over your shoulder forcing you to work on it. It's entirely like a self-policing type thing. You work on it because you want to work on it, right? You're your own boss. Now, if it's a total drag, or it's this very negative thing that you hate, it's not going to work out. You've got to be interested in it. You've got to be passionate about it, right? So that's one of the reasons I say don't take out loans to do it, because it'll kill the enthusiasm, right? The other thing is just not necessary. It just isn't necessary. If you feel that you need like $100,000 to get started, you probably don't have a very suitable idea. It's not suitable for like a one-person business. It just isn't. Big business solves big problems. Small business solves small problems. Pick a small problem. And there's advantages in picking small problems, because sometimes these problems are so small that like big multinational corporations, they are not competing with you. It doesn't make sense for them. It's too small. But that leaves a lot of opportunity for like smaller players like yourself to clean up. You can't make, tremendous amount of money for like a huge corporation, but you can make a tremendous amount of money for an individual, right? So that's the idea behind some of this stuff. Guido says, what do you think of the side hustle of renting out server hardware for small businesses in a plug-and-play fashion with just storage and maybe some apps, so it's not a full setup that needs an IT person? What do you mean? Like you're going to host this at home? Is that what you're talking about? You're actually going to do the hosting? If so, okay. You see, the thing is, you're getting into a business where there are some big competitors, right? There's like huge corporations, multinational corporations that do this, right? And you're competing with them. Now, all things being equal, that's not a good strategy, because they will always have a cost advantage over you, because they have economies of scale. They can do everything cheaper than you can, right? So I'm not going to say it's a bad idea and you shouldn't try it, but if you're going to try and do this, you would have to offset that by having some advantage that the big corporations don't have. Now, I don't know, maybe that's you have close personal relationships with a few small businesses, that kind of thing. So they will trust you, but they may not trust Google or Amazon or something like that when you tell them you should do this. Like I'm just making this up off the top of my head, like some hypothetical advantage like that, right? Where you could convince them to host their services with you, whereas they would never consider doing it with, say, Amazon or whoever the big players are, right? That's what I would say. If you had that, then maybe it would make sense. Maybe in that case, it might be better for you to be an intermediary, like almost like an agent, where you host it with Google, but you provide a service. You set it up for them, you manage it for them. You're like the systems admin or whatever, that kind of thing, so that you take advantage of their efficient cost of operations, but yet, you still use your advantage to get them to do it and to trust you. Right? Something like that. You know what I mean? But you see, usually the way you would do this is you would do it where Google or whoever the big competitors are, they're not satisfying that market. So there's certain people out there, certain small businesses where Google is just, their offerings are just not doing it for them, right? Maybe the small businesses need a lot more hands-on tech support or something, and maybe Google's not providing that or something. So you show up and it's basically you're selling a service where you say, I will host your thing, and what I'm doing is I'm really hosting it on Google, right? But I'm the systems admin, I'm your 24-hour tech support. You deal with me. I'm a single point of contact for anything you need for your IT services, whatever. And maybe that's what they're looking for, your customers are looking for, that Google doesn't provide, but that's the value you bring. Okay, you add that service to it. So I'm not sure. But something like that, Guido, you say in their local network, not in my home. Okay, but that's kind of the forces at play. So it's about being able to add something yourself, right? Not going head to head with a huge competitor, just going head to head with doing exactly what they do, because that, all things being equal, that'll never work. They will always have economies of scale and cost advantages over you. They'll always be able to do anything you can do for cheaper, right? So you have to provide something new. Guido says, I was thinking about businesses that have strict GDPR, I don't know what GDPR is, requirements, and can or want to keep their stuff local. Law or medical. Okay, well, I mean, I don't know what that is, but that's fine. If that's some kind of advantage that you can provide that the big competitors can't, then maybe there's a valid case for this. Now, the next big question is, can you communicate this to your potential customers, right? To your prospects? Can you get them to understand this, and do they see it that way? Or do they not believe you, or they don't trust you, or they don't see it that way? You know what I mean? That's the real test. So you take your best guess, like your best theory. Now you've got to go out and see if you can drum up sales, right? Before you do any of the operation stuff, go out and see if anyone will pay for it. And if the answer is yes, they are paying for it, then you have the motivation and the validation to go and do all the work necessary to provide the service, right? Don't start doing all this work creating this business that does this if you don't know if you could even convince a single customer to buy your services, right? So does that make sense? I mean, listen, I don't know what your situation is. Just by going on 2 paragraphs, it's very hard for me to give you really, really precise advice, but that's my gut feeling about what I understand of what you're doing. So hopefully that makes sense. And thank you for the question. It was an intelligent question. The final thing I wanted to cover today as part of this was when to transition to a full-time business. If you take your hobby or your interest and you monetize it through the process that we've talked about for the last 20 minutes, then let's say it takes off. Let's say you're making money. You add an income stream on to what you're doing. So if you have a day job, you're working 9 to 5 for the man, right? In another area, right? At what point should you consider leaving your day job and doing your own thing for full time? I would say until you've replaced your income and it's reliable, it's not volatile, every month it goes up and down tremendously. Have 2 or 3 months at least of stable income that matches what you're making in your day job. And that includes not just the salary or the pay, the cash they pay you, but all the value of all the benefits and all that kind of stuff too, right? So just make sure that you do your math on that and then get an idea of what that hurdle rate is. If you can make that kind of money, then I would say, it's stable, go for it. It's worth doing. And the idea also, the incentive to leave your day job is that you could then scale up your business to do even better, right? To make more than your day job. So that would be the idea. Hamza says, what's up? That's right. Not much, Hamza. It's Monday. I'm here, chilling. Drinking some pink lemonade like I was poolside in the summer. It's not the summer. It's the Arctic out there. And I'm not poolside, but I am in my mind. Live every day like you are. Talk to everyone like you are. And good things follow. There are 28 people here. Thank you for joining me today. You guys are awesome. Being able to do side hustles to add an income stream to what you're already doing to bring in money is always a great thing. If you can do it where you monetize something you enjoy, like your hobby or your interest, that's a double whammy. And if you get to the point where you can, replace your day job and devote all your work time in your life, your energies to doing something you enjoy, something creative that you build yourself, like a business that you've built yourself, founded on something you're interested in and that you enjoy doing, that's 3 out of 3, So even if you're like in a place right now where you're not willing to, take big risks or, do big life changes right now, put the groundwork in place, like do the groundwork and learn about how you do this. Try something, even like just, something that doesn't take any real time or real energy to do. Just experiment with this stuff. Go online and see if you can drum up interest in a product or a service. Go see if you can perfect how to persuade someone to buy a thing from you. You could do it virtually. You could do it in person. Or just connect with people in the industry that, where your interest is. So if your interest is music, go down to music stores, go meet artists, go meet all the people in that business, right? All the companies, that kind of thing. Just lay the groundwork of stuff like this, because life is long and, you can't learn this stuff overnight, but you can learn it in like a year or two. And you're going to be around for many, many more years. So you never know. This might be good. It might be good also to have something on the side, not from the sense of income, but from the sense of security. If times are changing or, there's always change. There's always the economy kind of shifts and moves around and stuff like that and evolves. So depending on what you do and where you are, it's always kind of good to have maybe more than one source of income. So you get that much more security. So it's good from that perspective too. Guido says the amount of money you have to make to justify going full-time on a business compared to employment is significant, at least in Europe. Well, no more significant than what you'd make in a job. You know what I mean? When should someone consider starting a YouTube channel? I don't know, when you got about 5 years to spare before making a cent. I don't know. Yeah, like usually there's a catch with stuff like the stuff that's like easy. There's always a catch. Like in the case of YouTube, like, yeah, you could do YouTube. I do YouTube on the side and, it's a thing. Like I don't really consider myself like a YouTuber. I'm doing YouTube with the equipment that I had like 13 years ago. You know what I mean? I built this computer 13 years ago. I've got, I did upgrade my cameras. I have these. This is a Logitech 1080p, what do they call this? Brio, Logitech Brio. These are old now, and, these are old. And like, I'm broadcasting to you from my office, not very sophisticated. And I did some videos. The only other type of video I think I've ever done really was I did some videos where I went up against like a bit of drywall, and then edited it together with like software I got for free, So, you can do that kind of stuff, but it's like, if you were relying on that to be like an income source, first of all, you just have to be, maybe you just have to be brilliant, like more brilliant than me for sure. And, and then very patient because like it doesn't make money overnight. It was like several years. It was like at least a couple of years before I monetized my channel. I know some people do it quicker, but, so, you know what I mean? Like there's things, it's really good doing stuff, that's not on the radar for a lot of people. So there's not a lot of competition. Instead of going in with everyone else, you go in, just sort of doing something that there's not a lot of competition because it's not like a mainstream thing. It's just a very niche kind of thing, or as Americans say, niche. It's a very niche type thing. But Hamza, I think, I'm not any kind of person that gives YouTube advice, but I would say if you feel like doing it, if it's fun, if it's exciting, do it. And if it stays fun and exciting, keep doing it, you know? Wow, I have the same camera. Yeah, exactly. I mean, sort of all is revealed, It's not like I've got like, $120,000 of audio visual equipment to do this or anything. I know some people do, and certainly you can do that. But I'm just talking. And I don't know if you necessarily need to see my big fat face and like extreme high definition, for some people, maybe they want that, but hey, maybe you're into that. But I think most people don't, so it works. However, this year, I think I'm forced to upgrade my computer simply because of the Windows 10, Windows 11 fiasco, right? My computer won't run Windows 11 because it's so old. It was like state of the art at the time with the 6-core processor and everything. I built it from like the best parts. And then that's great. 13, 14 years later, it's no longer good enough to support the latest operating system, apparently. Because Windows is so high tech and it can do such amazing things that we all have to upgrade our hardware. Ancient Greek says, does working part-time still worth doing? Absolutely. Another thing is that if you are interested in something, okay, and that's kind of the title of this episode that we were talking about, monetize your passion, right? How to turn something you're interested in that you would normally do anyway as like a hobby or just like a casual pastime. How could you turn that into something that makes you money? And then the goal of that is that if you can do that, then there's a chance that you could grow that to the point, you could scale it up to the point where it's replacing your income. And then you no longer have to go work 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 or whatever you do, doing something that you just don't enjoy. Instead, you could spend your time focusing on something that you actually do enjoy. And that's what makes you money. It's a great thing. Now, one way to get into that, if you don't know anything about the thing that you'd like to do, like let's say somebody mentioned earlier, Seth mentioned like Seth paints cars. He does fancy paint jobs on cars, including racing cars. I think that's absolutely fantastic. It's like, but let's say you wanted to do that, but you have no idea how to do it. You don't know anything about the car industry. No one in your family is connected to it, So one option to sort of learn that business is to go get a job in it, get a part-time job or whatever, but it's a vehicle for you to get on the inside of that business. Now you're working inside a company that, I don't know, paints cars or something. So you can see how it all works. You can see who their customers are. You can see how they're treated, what the company does to promote itself, where it promotes itself, how it promotes itself. You might even meet a few of the customers. You get a feel for how much they charge for various things, what customers are willing to pay, what they're into, what they're not into, that kind of stuff, and how the nitty-gritty works on the inside. And then once you learn that, that's the real reason you take the job. Yes, you make money, but it was really to get you on the inside. Now that you see all that, you have the option of sort of leaving and then starting up your own thing. You could almost go back to your company and say, look, I'm no longer your employee, but I'm a contractor now. I can do the exact same work that you hired me for. So if there's a period of high demand where you've got a lot of work that needs done and you don't have enough employees, you're not going to hire someone just to cover that peak demand time. But you could contract me. I could do work for you. Or you could just go out completely on your own, go to the same customers, offer, something that they understand, and their initial sort of reaction might be, well, who the hell are you? And you say, oh, well, I work for them, and I know that you are a client of theirs. And they go, oh, yeah, you used to work for them. Okay, well, they're good. So all of a sudden now you have credibility to these people. You're no longer a Joe unknown, So there's many different ways you can do it, right? Is working part-time still worth doing? If you're asking purely from a monetary point, yes, it is, as far as I know. But we're talking primarily here about side hustles, like doing a side hustle. And technically working part-time is not a side hustle. That's where you're an employee, not a founder or an owner. Anyway, it's been nearly an hour. Let me know if you have any questions. As always, check out this course. If you're interested in learning business, learning how to do the stuff, check out the $100 MBA course, link in the description. Best bang for the buck around to learn business. If you want to be in business, it helps to learn business. You'll save yourself a lot of like learning things the hard way. Instead, you learn things the easy way. I have an MBA myself. I created this because the knowledge is out there. You know, it's in the public domain. You don't need a university to, you know, to teach you this, to pay them 5 figures to like get this training. You can just read it all. You can order the books on Amazon. You can read it yourself, you know, and that's essentially what that course is. It's a self-study course. So, you know, I give you a reading list. I give you the links to all the books. I guide you through it with videos, and you learn the material. You can skim it, or you can go really, really, really in depth, whatever you're looking for. And, you know, you could do it entirely on your own schedule, on your own time frame. So yeah, tremendous thing to learn. I wish I had that option years ago, to be honest with you. That's why I created it. And great for people that want to do entrepreneurship. Are you going to take a 2-year MBA just to start your own side hustle? Probably not. But are you going to spend $100, maybe read all the material that describes finance, accounting, marketing? Marketing's the big one. Operations, you know, all that kind of stuff, economics, everything, you know, on your own time? Yes, makes a lot of sense. Anyway, link in the description. I'm not seeing a lot of questions in the chat. There are 28 people here. Thank you for being here. Hopefully you got something out of this today. If you do have any questions that I can help you with, ask them now, or forever hold your peace until next Monday, when I'll be back. Somebody says, somebody said, somebody removed their comment. They said something and then they removed it. So something about good news. Yeah. Okay. Well, you guys are awesome. I highly encourage you, if you are interested in something, think in terms of business. Learn a bit about how business works. Learn how you can actually do this yourself with no money, just a little bit of extra time, and you can maybe take an idea or a passion or an interest of yours, and you can turn it into a money-making venture. And then when you do it, it's not a chore like working a day job. It's something that you're passionate about, something that's creative to you. You're building a thing, doing what you want, and you're getting paid from it. You know, and there's multiple advantages in that. There's multiple good things that come out of that. So I highly recommend, if this is something that appeals to you, you know, educate yourself and learn how to do it, learn the principles, and start, you know? And it's incredible where some of the stuff can go. So there you go. Thanks, everybody. You guys are awesome. I'll be back in a week. Now, I will be back in 1 hour. I have another live stream this afternoon called Honest HR Nitrous. That's where we talk about job interviews, resumes, the job market, hiring, employment, all that kind of stuff, and the nitty-gritty reality of how that stuff works, not just the theory of how it's supposed to work. You know, warts and all, that's what we talk about. So if I can help you out there, come back and we'll talk. Thanks very much. You guys are awesome. Take care.